It's always a great reminder each and every year, and that is water safety. I think for myself, I'm going up to my cottage this weekend. People, beaches, by the way, here. There's 3 beaches opening here in the Ottawa area over the weekend. Summer is here, people in their backyard pools. So that is incredibly important for everybody to pay attention to. And here to give us some great safety tips and skills that we should all be thinking about, I'm joined by Wendy Schultemkamper. She's the Director of Operations with Lifesaving Society of Canada. Wendy, welcome to the show. And Wendy, I'd like to start off with I believe you partnered with Allstate for a survey that you recently did. Let's talk about that survey and maybe share some of those results with us.
Yes, absolutely. The Lifesaving Society of Canada has actually been really fortunate to have partnered with Allstate over the last 4 years with the intent, of course, to educate Canadians about water safety. Every year, the survey provides some really key information to help guide our water safety messages. And I do have several to talk about today, but one in particular that we do find a bit concerning is the fact that a third of all Canadian respondents actually believe that the pandemic restrictions due to COVID-19 have probably negatively impacted their swimming and water safety skills due to lack of access to swimming lessons.
Right.
And this year, just like any year, it's really important that all Canadians, really start to apply just some of these key water safety skills.
Yeah, let's talk about some of those skills. When it comes to, the swimming lessons I think are the obvious for most people, Wendy, but what other skills seem to be lacking when you do these surveys?
There's a number of them. And, when we talk about some of the best practices, you're absolutely right about the whole swimming lesson piece. We know that really learning how to swim is the number one most effective way to reduce drowning in Canada. Outside of that, though, when we do look at some of our other statistics, if I have to really point to some key things, we know that 81% of all of our boating fatalities, people were either not wearing a life jacket, and an additional 5% were not wearing one properly.
Right.
So the big message here is not only just wear your life jacket, because we often see children in boats with life jackets, but not often adults. So it's really important that anybody who gets in a boat wears a life jacket. Another really key stat, too, is that, if you're not recreating at a lifeguard supervised pool or waterfront, that it's so important to be your child's lifeguard. We want to ensure that all children are in direct supervision of an adult. And the rule of thumb is if you're not within arm's reach, you've gone too far.
Okay.
And the key here, of course, is direct supervision. So no distractions with things like, on the cell phone or reading books or chatting with some friends. We always like to take the approach of assign a lifeguard to be on duty for the kids while they are recreating on the water.
Yeah, very smart.
And probably another key message that a lot of people don't know is what drowning actually looks like. It's not as we see it in movies and television. The victim does not splash at the surface and yell and scream for help. Most of the struggle is underwater. When they do surface, the victims are gasping for air and not calling for help. Drowning occurs in as little as 30 seconds and is often silent.
Yeah, and when we think about water safety, we often think about the backyard pool. I mentioned I'm going up to my cottage. It's a lake. What about rivers? And rivers can be particularly dangerous, can't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually ranks up there in one of our higher statistics in terms of where people drown. 57% of the respondents from the Allstate survey said that they're planning on spending their time near an open body of water this summer. And we know that almost 70% of all of our drowning deaths in Canada occur near open water. And the challenge with rivers, of course, is the fact that they have currents, and especially this time of year, they're often fast moving. They can have a lot of debris in it, like, logs and all kinds of different things like that, especially with the spring runoff. Not to mention the temperature of a river as well can also lead to hypothermia. So our recommendation as always, again, is to, whenever possible, go to a lifeguard supervised location. Definitely don't go near the water without having a buddy in tow, and preferably an adult as well.
For all of these, this advice and tips and statistics and so forth, where can people go? What's a great resource that people can look to?
To be honest, one of the best things that you can do is go to your local pool and take some swimming lessons.
Okay.
Because not only do you learn how to swim, but all swimming lessons for both adults and children also include some really key water safety information on how to stay safe around lakes, around rivers, different types of waterfronts, and how to make some wise water smart choices. Even teaches you how to properly select and fit a life jacket.
Right.
Your local pool and swimming lessons is one of your best resources.
Great advice. Thank you so much for joining us today, Wendy. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
By the way, we brought up lifesaving.ca as well to find out more information, another great resource.